Things that must be at all times sustained while a lady is being questioned by a policeman. A demeanor, both calm and dignified. Stillness both of body and mind. That inner calmness induced by quiet, regular breathing. A measured and well-modulated tone of voice.
Shall we begin with you and Sei Shonagon in the garden?
This is absurd. It is outrageous. I am a palace lady. I should not be interrogated by a policeman. What is the real meaning of this insult? Do you even know? Why has the new Empress sent you here? What is she up to? But then I don't suppose she would confide in...
No need to worry. In every corridor and room adjacent to this one, I've placed one of my men. No one will hear what we say.
Except your men.
They are mine, and well chosen. I can trust them. So can you.
And what about your famous sense of duty that will compel you to repeat everything I say?
There again, it's a matter of trust. Do you trust me, Shonagon? Maybe this will help. I'll answer one of your questions. I think I've been sent here by the new Empress to question you because you are the favourite of Her Majesty Empress Teishi. You may be useful. If one Empress is weakened, does the other not become stronger? You see, I trust my men.
But what use can I be? I may be a favourite, but I am only a lady in waiting.
To the Empress Teishi. And a police investigation may damage you.
But how would that be a help to the Empress Shoshi? First consort, the daughter of the Chancellor. These are high powers, Yukinari imperial matters. We should not be talking like this, no matter how well you trust your men.
All right. Let's go back to the beginning. Will you tell me about your conversation with Sei Shonagon in the garden?
Some of which the Empress overheard.
Only a word here and there. And I don't think Sei Shonagon has repeated much more. But one of the words was blasphemy.
Sei Shonagon called me a blasphemous clown.
Why? Why would she call you such a thing?
What can I say in this man's face? Gentlemanly concern for a lady in distress. An awareness of his men all around us, and the new Empress not far beyond them. The stillness of a very patient watcher. Yes. Watchfulness.
Shonagon? You and Sei Shonagon in the garden?
I was looking at your expression.
I was aware of that.
It is watchful. Like a policeman.
Well, I am a policeman.
Like a hunter.
If I am such a thing, you are not my prey.
The new Empress, she summoned Sei Shonagon and me. And she looked at us just like that. You too? She summoned you. And she had just such an expression. Watchful, measuring. Is that what she's doing? Getting the measure of people close to Our Majesty, those devoted to Our Majesty.
Imperial matters, Shonagon. I thought we were to avoid them. You've told me nothing about you and Sei Shonagon in the garden.
We quarrelled. We have been close friends for years, so of course our quarrels can be ferocious.
Of course.
We would have been laughing together in a matter of minutes.
Are you sure? This time, are you sure? You told Sei Shonagon something dreadful was coming. You said you knew what it was. You said, I know what this is. What did you mean? Shonagon, you spoke about my duty as a policeman and my devotion to the Emperor and Her Majesty, but please, understand this. You should understand. Remember, my first, my true devotion is to you.
This man's gaze on mine. My gaze welcoming his. 20 fingers interlaced. His smiling, weeping wonder. My wondering, weeping, laughing joy. All around us, a million yellow roses. Gold as the robes of the goddess.
Please, trust me.
Imperial matters. The new Empress is the daughter of the Chancellor, the most powerful man in the land. She has been appointed first consort to the Emperor. Imperial power indeed. But there is one thing.
Say it.
I have seen the Emperor bow his head to the Empress Teishi, Our Majesty, many times. It was not Emperor to Empress, not even husband to wife. It was the bow of a lover.
Yes. That's a good thought. Now tell me, something dreadful is coming. I know what this is. You heard Sei Shonagon speak with the Empress's voice, and you said, I know what this is.
The new Empress, too? Her Majesty spoke through her?
Do you truly believe there's something uncanny in this? Supernatural?
You have another explanation. I am mad.
Of course not.
There is the goddess.
The goddess?
The goddess is. Do you agree?
Agree. It's hardly a question to be debated. It's the way things are.
And gods, too. There are many gods of rivers and mountains, gods of rice and trees and the sea, all manner of gods.
So the wise men say.
What about demons?
I've known people to behave in devilish ways. They might be called demons.
Ghosts. Are there such thing as ghosts?
I've never met one. I've known people who claim they have.
But there's always another explanation.
Yes. So it seemed to me.
Explain this. Once upon a time, you and I had not met.
Hard to believe.
Like a ghost story?
Ah, yes.
Do you remember?
Of course I remember.
I had a dream, and in that dream a man spoke to me.
You couldn't see him.
But his voice was clear. The next morning I met you for the first time, and you spoke with that man's voice. Is that uncanny?
Yes.
Is it supernatural?
I don't doubt that you had some kind of premonition.
It happened, Yukinari. The dream was real, and I heard the voice, and you were real. Now, once upon another time...
Shonagon.
What?
I've sworn my devotion to you. Do you trust me?
Yes.
And yet you won't meet my eye. You may study my expression, but there's no welcome in your look. Your gaze doesn't welcome mine. And now you smile.
1,000,000 yellow roses, gold as the robes of the goddess. Uncanny.
Shonagon.
Listen. Once upon a time, long before you, a palace lord told me this story. He swore by the life of his daughter it was true. I admit he was drunk at the time, but I am sure he was trying to tell the truth. He had a wife and he had a mistress, not unusual, but his passion for both seemed to be equally intense.
Yes, equal but different. I've heard lots of men tell that story.
One night, he and his wife were sitting quietly together. He hadn't seen his mistress for a few months. As the silence went on between him and his wife, he began to think about his mistress, when his wife suddenly, but softly, said, I am pregnant. I am to bear you a son. The second sentence was spoken in the voice of his mistress. He said it was like icy cold fingers caressed his head and his neck. I am to bear you a son, from his wife's lips in the voice of his mistress. The voice went on. There were accusations, complaints about his long absences and his distraction when he was with her, declarations of her absolute love and his unworthiness. He couldn't speak. He couldn't move. Only listen. He said while his wife was speaking in this other voice, she never once lifted her eyes from her hands in her lap. He had no idea how long it lasted, many minutes, he was sure of that. And then his wife looked up at him into his eyes and she said in her own voice, Did you hear me? I am pregnant. I think it will be a daughter.
And was there a son?
No. That baby was stillborn. The mistress died. But the wife did give birth to a healthy daughter. Then he asked me if I'd ever heard of a living ghost. Have you, Yukinari?
How can a ghost be living?
The spirit of a living person speaks through the lips of another. There are old tales about such uncanny things. The ghosts of people still alive. But in most of the tales, like the one the palace lord told me, well, the mistress died. And it's like that in most of the stories. The spirit leaves a body that is already... Death is already...
Something dreadful is coming.
Yes.
Shonagon, you say you know what this is. What is happening?
Other explanations? I imagined the voice like a dream. Sei Shonagon was playing a trick on me. The new Empress played the same trick. And of course, they do say mad people hear voices. Many more stories about that than there are about living ghosts. I am not mad, Yukinari. Not yet, but if this goes on...
The Empress, you think...
is in danger. My majesty, my devotion, my destiny.
But if there were any doubts about her health, surely...
Her living ghost came to me, spoke to me. Her death, Yukinari. Her Majesty's death.
Visions of an empress in the life of a lady in waiting. On welcoming the young lady, Her Majesty's smile, that smile, the first walk in a palace garden. She takes that one lady aside to talk with her, leaving behind at least a dozen other ladies. Her listening, how she listens, to a familiar tale of silly love with eyes glistening with understanding and amusement. The glistening eyes now shining with understanding and anxiety and again amusement as she listens to a complex tale of serious love between the lady and a policeman. And complicity, too. Encouragement. And now a heartbreaking vision. The ineffable grace of her figure as she walks away from the lady. Away into a fog of sadness, a father's death, a brother's banishment, and a new, young, ambitious rival empress. Incomprehensible. And my empress, my majesty, her face as dull and unmoving as a skull. The glisten of the eyes, now that of only rain-soaked pebbles. A nightmare vision. And dreams may come true.